was the Grizzly versus Blazers.
Woo! American sports. Let's go.
Yeah,
All right.
like American sports the rest of the way. So now you're involved.
I only watched the first half, but it looked like it wasn't even the Dame Lillard show. It was just CJ McCollum balling out. And
They both did.
who's the guy who lost his grandmother?
Nurkic.
He had,
Nurkic.
17 boards and 15 points or
No, he had 20 and 20.
20 by the end of the game. But
Yeah.
the first half, he had like 17 boards.
Yeah,
And he played his ass off.
yeah, he did.
He played his ass off, but everybody was playing for him. Like even in the post game, they talked to CJ and Dame about just what it is that he was going through, and they were like, "Look, we need to make sure we were playing hard for him because we knew how hard he was playing for us with everything that was going on with his family. So it's like not to let the dude down." Then they cracked a few jokes, which sounded really, really funny. But
wait, isn't CJ McCollum playing with a broken back?
Yeah.
Yes, which was the funny joke at the press conference when Dame looks at him like, "My back." My neck, my back, my neck, and my back. It's just like
you can see the chemistry between them, which is hilarious.
It's great. It's great. It's those two dudes. I hope I just want them to get more talent behind them because them two alone is not usually enough. I mean, maybe they beat Lakers and then the whole fucking NBA just gets lit on fire. But
Dame time.
Oh, damn time. Well, and that was the thing. It was like it's a perfect cap to a perfect week as far as Dame news when it comes to everything that's been happening with Skip Bayless and with those two jackasses that were making fun of him as far as free throws.
Yep.
He played. I mean, overall, like
good transition.
What?
Good transition.
Transition to what? We're just talking about all of it, aren't we?
Well, now
you never sent us the list, so
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't, but that was good.
Okay.
Because I definitely want to get into how Skip is delusional and how I think that he's using that shit just to like he's making no sense whatsoever.
Well, backstory. Give backstory.
Oh, what Skip just saying all this stupid shit about Dame Lillard just to sell or whatever to get viewers?
I have no idea what he said because I don't listen to Skip.
He was saying how Dame isn't a superstar and how he's not clutch. And the game that he had 61 on us that I saw that I sat front row.
Virtually?
That was cool.
Virtual front row?
Yeah, virtual front row. Shout out Joseph. I'm sitting up there watching Dame drop 61, and then the next time Skip is like, well, he missed like a clutch free throw, and I haven't seen him be clutch. Like Jordan was clutch, and then Shannon Sharp is like, well, wait, what happened to Jordan the first couple years when he was in the league? And then Skip was like, well, when he got swept or whatever the fuck happened. He's like, oh yeah, well, he's just learning how to win. And then Shannon's like, well, what the fuck is Dame doing right now then?
Yeah. Like Dame has been clutch already so many times.
Yeah, he's making no sense. And he's continuously bringing up like all the faults of Dame's game. If he goes 17 for 18, he'll be like, well, he only had 8 points in the fourth quarter when he was averaging 14 throughout the game. So he dropped off. Or he was good for 46 minutes, but not the full 48.
Yeah, and you can always find something to criticize, but the overall game that Dame Lillard is playing right now is absurd.
He's only saying that shit just so that people can go like to see what the hell he's gonna say this time. Like the ratings.
I mean,
he's doing it for.
It's making no sense.
Skip is Skip for the most part. I think that he's found a better spot with Shannon than he was when he was with Stephen A. Smith, which was just being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian. I feel
that's what he is now.
No, I feel like he's getting back in that groove. I feel like we haven't been talking about Skip and being problematic in a little while. It might just be because there's not a lot of sports. There's not a whole lot of hot takes you can have. Because, I mean, for the most part, he's been down with everybody that's been doing any of the Black Lives Matters or the protesting or anything else. Skip has kind of stayed in his lane.
Yeah.
This and that and the other. So I'm just maybe because there's no sports happening, he hasn't been able to have any hot takes that we have to criticize.
Nah, like Skip. The two people Skip hates on is number one, LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
He hates on LeBron for everything.
But he didn't hate on LeBron as far as the Black Lives Matter or any of that shit.
No.
Which
agreed.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But anything
We're talking about.
Yeah, we're only talking about like basketball.
Game, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Like in terms of just basketball, anything LeBron does, he hates, and then like he's getting that same bag with Dame Lillard for no reason.
It doesn't make any sense because if he's
and then they talk like
he's a commentator.
It was the phone call.
Yeah, we're Skip.
You heard about the phone call, Ryan?
No.
So what ended up happening was that Dame realized that Skip is just talking sideways out of his mouth about him for a minute. So what Dame does is that he gets word through to Skip, like, I need to talk to Skip. So Skip calls Dame or gets the phone number, whatever. They get into contact with each other. And Dame sends him a text and starts going the fuck off on him. Like, yo, why are you saying all this shit? Why are you doing this, that, and the other? And basically, according to Dame, Skip's on the phone basically backtracking like everything. He's saying how he's been stressed out because of COVID and how with the lack of sports that's been happening that he wasn't entirely sure if they were going to even have a show, if Fox Sports was going to be able to
and
pay
he was
them.
depressed.
He was depressed, this, that, and the other.
So
Dame,
that gives you the right to talk shit about somebody?
For no reason.
And what ended up happening was that I think that was right before the other game where then Skip came back with even more vitriol and shit to say.
Yeah.
So James just let it all go. He was basically like, fuck you, fuck off, fuck all this shit. Just went the fuck off on him. And
he called him a clown because he is. Yeah,
I mean, and that's kind of – I mean, I go back and forth with my love-hate with Skip. I mean, I don't necessarily know if I ever love him, but it's like there's sometimes where he doesn't bug me. I still think the show he has now is a lot better than what he was doing with Stephen A. Smith first.
Fair enough.
I didn't like that show at all
because Stephen A. and him, they were just playing caricatures of themselves.
It wasn't fun to watch.
It's like you could tell that they didn't. You look at me like, I don't honestly believe you believe this even. Like it's arguing for the sake of arguing. I don't think he does that with Shannon because I think a lot of times they end up being on the same side of certain things.
I feel like with Dame, that's where Skip is right now.
Yeah, it's especially where Skip is right now as far
as he's
arguing
just to argue.
If you're supposed to be commenting on sports or like the state of play or like the state of how a player is playing, at least be honest about where your side's coming from. Like if I watch Highly Questionable, I love Dan Le Batard. I watch that because the show is funny. I don't watch it to get my sports news.
Right.
I want my sports news. I usually watch the 12 o'clock Sports Center or the late night Sports Center because I'm actually getting facts. I'm getting facts, and sometimes there's comedy in there, but it's mostly I'm getting the sports facts. I also want that from shows like this or shows where people are talking on two sides. They could agree, but usually they have two different opinions. What he's doing is not an opinion. It's just fake. It's false. Fake news. Like he's finding small facts where if you look at the body of work that Dame has right now, it's just wrong. Like Dame missed a free throw. Everybody misses a free throw. Like that can't be the reason that you're saying that he's trash or that he's fallen off, during the playoffs. He just got his team into the playoffs against a very, very, very good Memphis Grizzlies team who actually pushed them almost to the end of the game.
Yeah, and Dame is going to be Dame was named MVP. So now this is the last time I'm going to look at the quote unquote YouTube video of like the reaction to this because I want to see what he says tomorrow or Monday in regards to it. Like,
he already started on Twitter.
Oh, he did?
Skip did?
He's already started on Twitter. He was talking about how I forget what's his name was like. He's already making the case that he's the best clutch shooter on the team. He's gonna basically what you're gonna see.
McCollum?
It wasn't CJ McCollum. It was another dude. But he was basically what you're gonna see in the lineup tomorrow is that he's gonna be bigging up CJ McCollum and saying how Dame didn't have this great of a game or this, that, and the other, and he's gonna basically come out and say he's got to prove it against the Lakers. What I want to see is Skip Bayless's head explode when he's trying to pick between Dame Lillard and LeBron James in this fucking series coming up. But like that to me is going to be something. The one thing I'll say about Dame,
Gabriel is pretty clutch.
The one thing I'll say about Dame that I've started to realize over conversations I've had with people over the last week, I didn't realize how polarizing a figure Dame Lillard kind of is. Like I've had a lot of conversations with people that say that like Dame has always been, at least the last few years, my top 3 favorite guys to watch play. And a lot of people are like, what do you mean? And I'm like, he's emotional, but when he gets emotional, he plays better. He's not like the Russ Westbrook where if he gets emotional, his shot selection goes completely off the fucking charts. and just trash most of the time.
Dame did score one from the NBA logo.
But that's what when you piss Dame off, he plays with that chip. Like it's kind of like the reason another top 3 guys, my favorite guys to watch, is Jimmy Butler. Don't piss him off. And don't piss him off.
We'll be seeing him Monday. How am I going to work on Monday?
You're not.
Am I supposed to get anything done?
Thank God I'm going to be working from home for the next 2 weeks. Good Lord.
I'm not going to be
watching. The game started at 1:30 all the way until like 11. That's crazy.
I was kind of hoping I had to self-quarantine for the next 2 weeks because I got hockey, I got basketball, I got baseball all day, every day. I'm going to have to do that in the office and look like a jackass.
I will say Dame to me right now, I'm not going to talk about pure play style because it's different, but as far as just the way that they became sort of a polarizing figure, the way that they play when they're emotional, I think I'm realizing why he's one of my favorite players to watch. He reminds me of Allen Iverson.
Okay.
He's really reminding me of Iverson. And I hope his career doesn't end like Iverson in the sense of like just wasting away on a team that's not going to be able to win a championship. Right. But I think he's also – you have that mentality you have with a guy like Dame, which is like, I'm not taking the easy route. I'm not going anywhere to just go get me a chip. I'm staying here.
That's how it all started.
I ain't running around.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you boys is chumps.
Yeah. You got to –
But as a Dame fan, I kind of want you to run around, dog. Like, I need you to go somewhere else. Like,
I want to put the Mavs.
Or you want everybody on your team.
I knew that was coming.
This is the least hot take. This is the coldest take of the day.
I mean,
what was that? A grade school shrugging shit.
Yeah. I actually want him to stay on the Blazers and then have them put pieces around him to win. I mean, if you can win on a team where one of your big guys is Carmelo Anthony, this Carmelo Anthony, 2020 Carmelo Anthony.
But Melo's not bad. That's
right. He's not terrible, but you're telling me
he's not bad. Don't put terrible. Don't use that adjective so you got to walk it back. He's not bad.
He's not bad at all.
But there are so many better players that they could put in place to help Dame win. Carmelo did not have a good game today. And he's wearing double zeros. Like, that's
you need a big dude. You need a Joel Embiid or fucking like Anthony Davis or somebody crazy fucking one of the big two in there with him and CJ to just start rocking.
Well, isn't Anthony Davis a free agent?
That's where I'm kind of lining up. Like, if you had him over there, look, you could have Portland and the Clippers kind of being the one too. Like, punch in the West. Like, and there are other teams that are still kind of making it up. Like, there are teams that are on the up. I love seeing what's happening in the NBA overall. With a lot of these teams are just –
if you look at the West,
going great.
The West is
it's looking insane.
I mean, it's always
the West is going because the West is being the West again.
Yeah.
It's going to be great teams that don't make the playoffs.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's good for basketball.
It gives the Miami Heats an opportunity to go ball out in the playoffs.
Then don't you think at some point they're going to go back to the same old conversation about, well, if you got 50-win teams in the West not making the playoffs, and then you got 30-win teams in the East making the playoffs, shouldn't it just be the top teams in both conferences play each other?
I think the reason that it works well is because it also allows the smaller market East Coast teams to potentially pick up a big player who wants to make the playoffs.
Well, a lot of the teams that are trash, if you think about it, are big market teams in the East. The first team I think about is the Knicks,
or even a big market team. Yeah, but that's
I would think
that's how you get the people who are on the Nets are rebuilding around. Obviously,
the Nets are going to come, or the Nets are going to be something special next year.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's not going anywhere. They're going to still be there. New Orleans is not going anywhere. They're going to get better. I still like what the Heat are. The 76ers is still the 76ers. The Celtics is still the Celtics. The not the biggest disparity.
The Sixers are not good.
Yeah, and they keep getting hurt.
They're going to have to break up the team at some point, or get a new coach.
They're probably going to get a new coach. They're going to try to add some more talent behind it because I don't see them they're not going to wholesale just break up Simmons and Embiid just yet.